there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I got a lot of fun DIY home decor inspiration for you today. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Today we'll be working on some Farmhouse Valentine crafts, so let's get started with project number 1. For this project I'm using this sign from Dollar Tree, and what I've done is I've cut it not quite in half. I made this about 7 inches, and I've already sanded the paper and stuff, took the metal plaque off the front, sanded the paper off, so I'm starting with bare wood. I'm going to use a heart from my stash. There's all sorts of hearts from Dollar Tree that you could use, especially now all the Valentine's stuff is out. That other one I think came from Joann's or something like that, but I just wanted to show you different options you can use. And the first thing I'm going to do is take my crocodile. So this is going to be nice if you use one of the ones from Dollar Tree because it already kind of has a hole in it, and we're always trying to cover up that little hole to hang it by with a bow or something. But, you can work with the hole by using your crocodile and just punch a bunch of holes around, a design. I'm using the smaller hole on this one, but if you use Dollar Tree one, you might want to use the bigger hole so it kind of matches the size of the hole in the ornaments, the wood hanging ornaments. But just punch as many holes as you want. I just thought it'd be a fun little texture to it. Like this. And I'm going to use Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint and Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Barn Red. And I'm going to use the White Swan, and I'm going to do a couple of coats on this wood piece here. Again, it's about 7 inches or so. I might have done 8. Can't quite remember. 7.5, let's say. This is just a quick and easy, cute little project. It will look cute in other decor or tucked on a tiered tray if you have that in your home, anything like that. It's quick, it's easy, it's fun. You can make a bunch of them. I just like it. Anyway, got that one painted. I'm coming in and painting the heart. I'll do a couple coats on that as well. And then I'll come in with like a little round paintbrush because you don't have to, but my preference is to come in and like paint through the holes as well because I don't want to quite see the wood on there. So, if you want little round paintbrush and get inside those holes where we punch those out. And then once everything is painted, I'll go ahead off camera and kind of sand and distress it all. Now that we're all distressed up, I'm going to take this tiny little drill bit and I'm just going to drill one hole in the upper right and upper left corner of this little plaque here. And you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now, I use my Cricut Design Space and I just use some vinyl. You could draw it on with like a black Sharpie or a black, marker from Dollar Tree. I'll have the font listed down in the description box, the name of that, if you want to use your, vinyl cutting machine and print that out. I don't know. I like the look of the vinyl because, not always happy with my handwriting, but these letters are so easy. Farmhouse font, you could totally just write those on, especially with the Sharpie, or paint it on there, whatever you like. So now I've got a 20 gauge wire here, just a nice big long piece. I'm curling, the middle part. I put one end through the hole on the upper left side, curled the middle around a large handle paintbrush, and I'm going to put the wire through the hole of the upper right side, and I'm just going to bring that up and over and twist it around the wire at the top here. Just an easy little decor thing here. You can see how the wire's twisted up. Easy, easy, looks cute. Not that you're going to hang it, but it just adds that little something, something, right? Again, super, super easy project. I'm going to cut off the excess with my scissors. And then I'm going to come in, I've watered down that White Swan chalk paint, and I tap off the excess paint off my fan brush, and then I tap my fan brush to get nice light little splatters. You can see here, I'm doing the same thing with black paint. I've watered it down. I like a fan brush. You can see it just adds nice, tiny little splatters. And then we're going to go ahead, once those splatters are dry, and we're going to attach our heart with some Beacon Fabri-Tac glue right in the center of the L and V. Going to add a little black and red plaid bow on the upper left of the wire there. Kind of cut off the excess on the tails. And then that makes this project complete. Let's move on to project number 2. I love how this project turned out. Here is my inspiration. I found it on Pinterest. I was looking through Valentine stuff and came across a page of all these Valentine cookies you can order. And I'm like, that's a pillow. So I've got 2 pieces of felt here. I get this at Hobby Lobby. It's 18 by 18. It's really big. And I've got 2 pieces here of fleece here. And this is 16 by 16. Now you certainly can just use 1 piece of fleece, but you know, I like a lot of frosting on my cookies, so I'm going to go with 2 pieces of fleece for this pillow. I know, that was funny. And then I've got a piece of felt here, actually 2 pieces. This is just felt. You can get it at Dollar Tree. I've cut the main piece. It's about a 6 by 7 inch size, and then a back piece just to be a little smaller for the back side, just to raise it up a little bit. And I'm going to use this twine from Dollar Tree and a little bit of this rope I got at Hobby Lobby. I'd rather have had that rope for all of it, but I only had a little bit, so I'll show you how I'm going to come across that. I'm going to use Distress Oxide Ink Vintage Photo, and these are makeup brushes, and those of us in the scrapbook world have been using these makeup brushes for years to help with, you know, putting ink on our projects, and they have these at Dollar Tree, and really you just rub it in the ink and then you rub it along. I'm just showing you on a scrap piece of paper, and you can see how just beautiful that ink lays on the paper there, and it works so quick and easy. It's really great for adding ink, you know, to your project if you don't have any type of, you know, I think it works easier in like a makeup sponge or something like that. Our Dollar Tree got these little makeup brushes in probably 6 months ago, and I'm like, oh, I'll get one later. I went back and they were gone, of course, and then they finally just got it back in. And you can see here the difference of, you know, that shading with that makeup brush, you know, around the edges with the center. And I'm only doing the top. The bottom I'm not going to worry about because, you know, that's going to sit like on a couch or something like that. Just doing the front to look like, you know, our cookie baked a little bit in the oven. And then I'm going to do a little bit around this red felt here. You can kind of see the difference, the shading around the outside. It just kind of pops it up off of, you know, your project there a little bit. Using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, of course you can use hot glue here, and I'm just going to add that piece of felt on the back. Now I'm going to go around and sew around this. If you're not a sewer, don't sew around this, of course. And in hindsight, there's something I should have done first. We're going to get to that later. So if you're a sewer, maybe wait and do this other part first, and I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm just adding a little, it's just for decorative. You don't need it, but because I'm going to sew my pillow, that's why I'm doing that, just to give it a little design element. But this other part that I'm going to show you, this is how it looks sewn. You don't really need to sew because it will add the design element. I use this, it's just an outline of a heart. You can find it on like Google. And then this is the letters I'm going to use. I chose red. If you don't have, coming back to that thought, if you don't have vinyl or vinyl cutting machine, you can use fabric markers. I have black, you know, I got at Walmart, but they make all sorts of different colors, and it was less than $2 for that 2-pack. Now I chose red here because I wanted it on the red felt to just kind of look tone on tone, very light, not really stand out. So just using my Cricut Easy Press here to get that on there. It says 280 degrees for 30 seconds when you're doing it on felt. Anyway, yeah, you can draw it on there. I didn't make a free printable for you because that felt or the vinyl word with love is like really gigantic, okay? Because, you know, I cut a 16 by 16. I'm not going to fit it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Now, I am just adding glue around the edges of my fleece, around the edge, just to hold it together, okay? You don't have to do that, but I just wanted to hold it together so I can sew around the edges of the fleece here. If you are a hot gluer or a Beacon Fabri-Tac glue and you're using vinyl, I would hold off on gluing any of this together until you get your vinyl onto your project, okay? I wanted to mention that there because I know I usually give you options. If you're a gluer, do this now. If you're a sewer, do this now. But gluers, hang on. We'll come back to you. So now, as you can see, you're probably wondering, well, why did you sew that? And now I'm going to sew this onto one piece of the felt that we did the shading around, because I'm going to do a double stitch. So if you only want to do one single stitch, go ahead. You don't need to sew around your fleece first. Just pin it to your top piece of felt and then sew around it if you're a sewer. Again, if you're a gluer and you're going to use vinyl, don't do anything yet, okay? But I wanted to add like a double stitch around the whole thing, just, you know, for decorative purposes. So that's why I kind of sewed it first to get both pieces of fleece in place, and then sewing it again onto my top piece of felt. So I hope that is all understandable to you. So here it is, what it looks like. You can see my double stitching, right? So that's, you know, why all that happened. If you are a glue user, sewer, whatever, it's time to get your vinyl on there, okay? Once you get your vinyl onto your fleece, then you can go ahead and hot glue or Fabri-Tac your fleece onto your large felt piece, okay? If you do that first and then you know, iron on your vinyl onto it, that glue is going to be a hot mess underneath it, okay? So that's why I say wait first. Now, if you're a gluer or hot gluer, you're not using vinyl, you can go ahead and glue all of that down, and then you can use, you know, your fabric markers or whatever to, you know, write your words on there, you know, onto your fleece fabric. Okay, once everything is cooled, I'm going to lift it off. On here, it's going to be hard to see, but in person, it's a little bit more showable. When I get it up to the light there, you can see it a little bit more, just kind of tone on tone. And then I'm going to take my carrier sheet off of my vinyl here. Okay, perfect, looks super cute. And now here's what I'm saying. If you were a sewer, you might want to wait to sew first, because then I thought, oh my gosh, I want to make this look like a stamp and do the scallop edge. So I'm just using some scissors here and I'm going around, but had I not sewed it first, I would have had a little bit more room here to do the scalloped edge here. So if you're not a sewer, the scallop edge is going to just add a design element to your, you know, quote unquote stamp piece. It looks pretty cute just doing it by hand, right? So if you're a sewer, I would scallop first and then sew around it so you have plenty of room to work with. I'm going to go ahead, if you are a gluer, hot glue or Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, we're going to go ahead and glue our pillow together going all the way around 4 sides, but when you come to the bottom, leave about a 6-inch opening there to add your stuffing, okay? And then you can also go ahead and glue on your stamp. All right, I'm going to come around before I glue my stamp piece on and do my sewing all the way around. Again, I'm going to go all 4 sides, but that last side I'm going to leave about 5-6 inches opening for the stuffing. And on this piece as well, I do go ahead and do a double stitch around this, just so it matches the double stitching I did on our frosting area, right? Coming down to my double pin area here, so I know to stop there. I double pin usually where I want to stop. Just, you know, so my brain knows stop here, and then there's my little opening for stuffing. So off camera, I'll do that double stitch so you hear what it looks like. There, we've got it there, double stitch. Matches our fleece or frosting. I just think this turns out so cute. I'm going to go ahead and now glue on my stamp. I love this. I'm glad I came across the cookie page. I'm like, I'm going to make a cookie into a pillow. And then you're going to come in here and you know, stuff this as full as you want it. I tried to just kind of not like overstuff it so it looked, you know, really bulbous. I just wanted it, I wanted it a nice stuff because I like my pillows tight, but I wanted it to still kind of look flat like a cookie, if that's understandable. So I just stuffed it tight enough, but still look flat like a cookie. Okay, and then once you're done, if you're a gluer or a sewer, of course, you're going to glue or sew that opening closed. I, of course, am going to stick with the sewing aspect of this project and sew that opening closed. Again, you know, double stitching because I double stitched around all the remaining portion of it. You guys are going to have to let me know how you like this idea. And you know I love to make pillows. Now, so here's the twine. I wish I had that bigger rope, but I didn't have that, so I thought I'll use this twine from Dollar Tree, and then I'll use that little bit of bigger rope that I have left for the bow on the front, because I wanted it more dramatic. But this works perfectly wonderful. I think this would look so cute with red and white twine, like it showed in the cookie picture, but I didn't have, I mean, I had it, but it was so thin, and I wanted it thicker at least. So I chose to go with the brown and white twine. It matches the frosting in the cookie anyway. If you're just going to use just twine, you could use it in a bow just like this. But like I said, I'm going to use this little bit of bigger twine that I have. Again, I believe I got that at Hobby Lobby. So I cut off the smaller twine. You can see up at the top forming my bow with the bigger ropey twine here. And then what I'll do is just get a little paper towel underneath here so I don't get glue all over my frosting. And those little pieces I cut off, just do some Beacon Fabri-Tac glue here and kind of, glue them and connect it to, the remainder of the twine sitting there. Just kind of twist it together with the glue. And then I'll go ahead and add my larger rope bow on top. And that makes this cute cookie pillow complete. Woo woo! Let's move on to our last project, number 3. For this project, I had my husband cut me some wood here. It's 7 inches long by 4 inches height or width or whatever you want to call it, 3 pieces. And then I'm going to use this nice big thick heart from Dollar Tree. And one of these little wood squares from the little package of wood squares you can get from Dollar Tree. And then a bunch of these hearts. You can use as many hearts as you want. I'll have a link down below where you can get these hearts, craftingwithkimber.com, where we all got the cute snowman in my last video. If you don't have like wood you can cut, you can definitely use one of these book stacks from Dollar Tree. And then they, at least I hope this year, have them out, this packages of wood hearts, and you can just use those. I'm going to use Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint, Dixie Belle chalk paint in Barn Red, and then just this Arteza rose pink matte paint. I'm going to paint each book a different color, and then the hearts I'm going to paint different colors as well. So obviously I'm starting the White Swan chalk paint on one book. But yeah, if you don't have wood you can cut, or husband can cut those book stacks, we've done plenty of projects using those book stacks from Dollar Tree, but this time I just kind of wanted to, switch it up a little bit and actually, have some wood to cut, just some real wood here. Okay, painting other book in the Barn Red. Perfect. And then I'm going to paint the big thick heart in the red. You, of course, can do it any which way you please. And then I'll do 1 or 2 little hearts. I can't remember. Red. And then we're going to come in and I want to paint a couple of the hearts in the White Swan as well. A couple of little teeny hearts here. I really like how this project turned out. It's fun. I can't decide between this book stack or my cute cookie pillow with double the frosting. Which one I like better. All right, coming in with some of that pink paint now and starting on the hearts first, and then I'll come in and paint my last little book, so to speak, here in the pink. And then once all the paint's dry off camera, I'll go ahead and sand it and distress everything. So now I'm taking the big heart here and I'm just tracing it onto some paper. I'm going to cover both sides. This is the only thing that I end up covering in paper. And on one of the areas where I traced, you can see I'm coming in and I'm kind of drawing a new pattern line here, about 1/4 of an inch in. All right, because, I painted that, I distressed the edge, I want to let that show. You can see there what it looks like. And what I'll do is, the back I'm just going to cover completely because I want the back all finished off. And in the front, I will cut around that new pattern line there. Here's how the back looks. It'll be all nice and finished. And in the front, come in, like I said, cut that new pattern line here. And then that will allow that little bit of edging show around the wood. Once I get this cut, I'll show you what that would look like. It's really easy to do. I do it all the time because otherwise, why do we paint and distress if we're not going to see a little bit? Now you can see here what that looks like. See? Nice and easy. I'm going to take my papers here to the sewing machine. You got it. Those of you new to my channel, I love to sew on my scrapbook papers when I use them on projects. I just think it gives it a great kind of farmhouse feel to it. So I will sew front and back of my papers for the front and back of my heart, of course. That sounded funny. I will sew both papers for the front and back of my heart. I don't sew the papers front and back. Here's what it looks like. See, just adds a little something, something. And then I like to take the open end of my scissor blades here, and I will scrape it along the edges just to kind of give it that rustic look. So those of you that maybe are not sewers, but you want a little bit more something to it, this is a great way to add texture, and it kind of just brings your paper, it gives it a little bit of definition between, you know, the paper and the wood. It kind of pops it up off of the wood. All right, so I again use my Cricut design space here. You can again just use the markers, like that white marker from Dollar Tree works wonderful here. I'll have the font listed down in the description box for you in case you want to just, you know, create your own and use vinyl to cut it out, or of course, you can use the markers to write it on, nice and easy. So once that's on there, I'm going to go ahead and glue these papers on. This is what it looks like. And now I'm coming in kind of like we did in the first project. I've watered down some of the black and white paint, and I'm using my fan brush again. I dip it in the paint, and then I kind of wipe off the excess, and then I tap my fan brush to get the splatters on, and I will go around, you know, all the sides of the books. And I really only need to splatter the very top book and the very bottom book on, you know, the big side, because the others are all going to be glued together. You're not going to see it, but you will see around the sides. Does that make sense? So splattering white on the red and pink books. See how I splattered that one big side? Because that's going to be seen. It's going to be on top and then coming around the sides. All right. So now I'm going to add my little words on here. I started with black vinyl, as you can see here, and then on the red and the pink book I went into white vinyl, and I decided I didn't like that. So off camera you'll see kind of in, you know, a couple of clips down the line here that all my words are now black vinyl. And this is I Carry Your Heart. It's just one of my favorite poems I love by E.E. Cummings, and so I thought this would be cute for a Valentine quote, you know, on a book stack. All right, so now I'm gluing my books together here. And you can already see my eye is now black vinyl. I'm going to get this red book on top. You can put them in whatever order you want, of course. As I tip it over now, you can see all vinyl. I think it just, black vinyl, it just is a little bit more standout-ish. Now we're going to go ahead and glue the big thick heart on top. I kind of glue it and, you know, back a little bit so we can start kind of gluing our hearts. I left it in this position so you can see from the top. I'm kind of laying them and stacking them upright. So I'm kind of gluing edges of hearts. And then I'm going to add one of those little blocks. I said earlier I'd use one so that I could lay like a heart on top of it. And I painted the block red so it matched my top book, adding glue around the edges of the heart so I can lean it against the other hearts. So I'm just kind of doing point of contact wherever that glue is going to hit and touch something. Okay, wherever that heart is going to, you know, hit and touch something, that's where I'm adding the glue. It's hard when you think 5 steps ahead. And you can see I'm just kind of laying everything down here. Just thought it'd be cute. So it looked like hearts just kind of spilled out on top of the book stack. Okay? Perfect. Love how this turned out. Now I'm coming in with just some plaid ribbon here from my stash. I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby. Don't take that literal, but possibly I believe I got it at Hobby Lobby. And then once my bow's done, I like my tails a little extra long. So I'm just kind of wrinkling and crinkling the tails down a little bit. I'll cut off the excess, you know, after I figure out exactly what length I need them. I just think it kind of gives it a little bit of a romantic touch here. I like how this book stack came out. I just think it's really pretty. I love the rusticness of it. And of course, I love, you know, I Carry Your Heart. If you haven't ever that poem, I Carry Your Heart, I Carry It in My Heart. I love it. Love that poem. Anyway, cutting off a little more of the ribbon here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add one tiny little heart to the center of the bow. And then one more heart down here. They're little It's a Boy hearts. I got a big old bag of them at a garage sale for like $1. Why not? We can paint the other side, right? Add one more in the front of my book stack to tie in the hearts. And then that makes this project complete. So I hope you like all of these projects today. Please give this video a thumbs up, and you know the drill. I gotta find something different to say. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite is. I can't decide between this book stack or my frosted cookie pillow. I love it. If you just wandered in here for the first time and you're checking things out and you're digging what you saw, make sure before you click off you hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from me. Before I go, I want to leave you with one final thought. The Lord knows who is His. He knows those who trust Him, love Him, walk with Him. Let Him be by your side. Let Him take care of you. He has a pure heart that loves you, and He will always be faithful and just in your life. God will never allow the enemy to triumph. God will always stand up for you. He is your shield, your protector in every moment you face. Set your mind on Him. Set your mind on His truth. Cast your cares on Him. By keeping your anxieties or fears to yourself, your only future is to continue to worry about them by yourself. Stop striving on your own and surrender your anxieties to Jesus. Let go. He's got this. He's got this for you. He knows just what you need and the path you should take. He is in all moments of your life accomplishing His will to give you a hope and a future, working things together for the best possible outcome for your life. Always know that God will guard you and guide you, never letting you stumble or fall. He is your keeper. He will never forget you or ignore you. He will not abandon you. Keep your eyes on Him and don't be shaken. He will shelter you in His presence, protecting you from danger both day and night. He knows just what to do for you, so be encouraged and let Jesus show you the way. Be still and know that He is God. Be in His presence, breathe in His mercy and grace, and just rest in Him. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.